हाय एवरीवन एंड वेलकम बैक टू योगी टॉक्स। आई एम योगेंद्र और इस चैनल में हम बात करते हैं अबाउट वेरियस टॉपिक्स एसोसिएटेड विद एविएशन सच एज न्यूज़, करंट प्रोग्राम्स एंड अदर इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक्स। आज के इस वीडियो में मेरा जो टॉपिक है दैट इज अराउंड बोइंग 747, द राइज एंड द फॉल ऑफ दिस आइकॉनिक एंड दिस मोस्ट अमेजिंग एयरक्राफ्ट। और हालांकि आई वुड नॉट से फॉल बिकॉज आई थिंक इस प्लेन ने aviation industry को serve किया for more than 50 years, and it has, I think, won the hearts of all the people across the globe with its technology, size, and I think everybody who saw this aircraft, I think, would just left shocked and amazed कि इतना बड़ा plane कैसे fly भी कर सकता है। और I think like all the good things that come to an end, ये this plane का भी almost I would say end ही है because passenger जो aircraft हैं और airlines हैं उन्होंने इसको उड़ाना बंद कर दिया है। I think except Lufthansa is the only airline which is still flying this, but cargo में it still has a special place, it's still going strong. And the reason this topic has been chosen is because अभी आपने देखा होगा कि जनवरी इस साल में जो आखिरी था 747 that was manufactured and handed over to Atlas Air, which is the cargo airlines. Hence we can see that this aircraft has served the industry for many years. And in this video I just quickly cover कैसे शुरू हुआ था प्लेन और इसकी जर्नी क्या रही है और एंड इसका क्यों हुआ, एंड ऑल्सो समवॉट कि हमारे एयर इंडिया ने इसको कैसे यूज किया है और एयर इंडिया में क्या हिस्ट्री रही है इन प्लेन्स की। बट बिफोर दैट आई विल स्टार्ट विद माय ओन हिस्ट्री विद 747 एंड आई हैव बीन द लकी वंस टू ट्रैवल ऑन दिस एयरक्राफ्ट। और मैंने 2 बार ट्रैवल किया इस प्लेन पे अराउंड 11 साल पहले इन 2012 when I was traveling from Hong Kong to San Francisco and on the return leg as well. And that the airlines was Cathay Pacific. And to be honest, I was very excited when I even saw this plane, or even before that जब मैंने देखा अपने टिकट पे कि जो प्लेन होगा इस लेग पे that would be 747, that was like a dream come true for me because बचपन से since I have enjoyed aviation, reading about aviation, my dream has been to fly on this plane, and that was about to come true. और उसका रीजन ये भी है कि if you see all in the popular culture, all the movies जो बनी है planes पे in the US और Hollywood movies like Executive Decision and all these movies, उन सब में इसी plane का रोल रहा है, and I think everybody has been amazed and everybody has been a fan of this iconic aircraft. For me, when I entered inside this aircraft, I was totally amazed by the amount of space it had. और स्पेशली आपको पता ही है कि जैसे ये डबल डेकर प्लेन है, इसमें जो फर्स्ट क्लास और कॉकपिट है वो ऊपर है ऑन द टॉप डेक, एंड दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच इज कंप्लीटली अमेजिंग कि इतना बड़ा प्लेन पॉसिबल भी कैसे है टू मैन्युफैक्चर एंड फ्लाई। वी ऑल नो अबाउट फिजिक्स ऑफ फ्लाइंग, बट टू बी ऑनेस्ट व्हेन यू सी दैट यू जस्ट कंप्लीटली अमेज्ड। And even though I've flown on Airbus 380 as well multiple times, even then I would rate the 747 way higher than A380. Maybe that's my bias. और आपको जानते हैं कि इसमें अंदर स्टेयरकेस है जो ऊपर लेके जाता है टू द फर्स्ट क्लास इन द डेक, एंड दैट इज अगेन समथिंग व्हिच इज कंप्लीटली अमेजिंग टू सी अ स्टेयरकेस इनसाइड एन एयरक्राफ्ट इवन दो इकोनॉमी क्लास पैसेंजर्स आर नॉट अलाउड ऑन दिस टू गो अपस्टेयर्स। तो एंड जो आप फोटो देख रहे हैं दिस इज बेसिकली ऑफ फोटो आई क्लिक्ड एट द हांगकांग एयरपोर्ट व्हिच इज ये प्लेन ईवा एयर है व्हिच इज ऑल्सो कार्गो एयरलाइंस, and it's also one of a major hub in across Asia, which is the Hong Kong airport. और ये नया वाला हांगकांग एयरपोर्ट है, अगर आपने सुना होगा कि पहले वाला काय तक एयरपोर्ट था that had iconic landing and approach, and if you haven't read about that, please आप सर्च करिए और पढ़िए काय तक एयरपोर्ट हांगकांग के बारे में। But coming back to our topic, let's chart out the history and ये शुरू कैसे हुआ था। So 1960s, the US military actually asked all the plane manufacturers to come up with a huge or let's say a big aircraft for military. तो इस प्रोग्राम में बोइंग ने पार्ट लिया था, इस प्रोग्राम में लॉकहीड ने पार्ट लिया था और ने भी पार्ट लिया था, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली लॉकहीड का C5 जो प्लेन था दैट वन द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, एंड इवन दैट प्लेन इज रियली अमेजिंग टू बी ऑनेस्ट, बट बोइंग वाज स्टिल लेफ्ट विद द डिजाइन ऑफ दिस एयरक्राफ्ट जो वो प्लान कर रहे थे टू बी अ वेरी ह्यूज एयरक्राफ्ट। और ये मे बी इट्स अ कोइंसिडेंस और इट्स प्योर लक कि इन 65 पैन एम एयरवेज व्हिच वाज अ मेजर एयरलाइंस इन द यूएस, उनके सीईओ ने बोइंग से बात की कि देखो अभी हमको एक बहुत बड़ा एयरक्राफ्ट चाहिए व्हिच कैन कैरी लॉट ऑफ पैसेंजर्स अक्रॉस अटलांटिक। उस टाइम पे जो सबसे बड़ा एयरक्राफ्ट था और वन ऑफ द मोस्ट बिगेस्ट एयरक्राफ्ट्स पैसेंजर वाइज दैट वाज a 707 with 4 engines. but even that could carry only 190 passengers, which was still not big enough for these airlines. तो जब बात हुई पैन एम के सीईओ की विद बोइंग्स engineers and management team, they actually then they came up with this idea that hey, by the way, हमने काम किया था for US military for this aircraft, why don't we just sort of tweak this और इसको हम adapt करते हैं for a passenger plane. तो इनिशियल प्लान ये था कि ये प्लेन एक पूरा प्रॉपर डबल डेकर प्लेन होगा जस्ट लाइक A380 जो भी है, लेकिन ड्यू टू अदर टेक्निकल चैलेंजेस एंड परफॉर्मेंस इश्यूज दे डिसाइडेड ओके लेट्स नॉट हैव द होल डबल डेकर प्लेन, लेकिन सिर्फ लेट्स हैव अ पार्ट ऑफ फर्स्ट क्लास एंड कॉकपिट ऊपर एंड बाकी द होल other area of plane economy business class would be on the below deck, and this can carry more than 400 passengers, and this was loved by the Pan Am Airways, and they signed a contract of more than $500 million, which I think would be about $2-3 billion in today's value. तो इससे शुरुआत हुई थी और जो फर्स्ट फ्लाइट थी Boeing 747 की, that took off in 1970 from New York, I think, to London. That was transatlantic, and this plane was loved by everybody, passengers, pilots, everybody just had good words for this plane. And the father of the 747, as it's called, unka naam Joe Sutter hai, and he did some fabulous work in building this aircraft and designing this aircraft. So basically, after this plane was launched in 1970s, there were a lot of economic reasons as well, and a lot of economic uncertainty as well, because उस टाइम पे oil shock चल रहा था और airfares were regulated by the US government. Hence the growth was a bit slow. Airlines were still not very much lapping it up. But then during 70s and 80s, as the airfares were deregulated and also the demand really cropped up and oil prices came down, a lot of airlines started booking and buying these 747s. और इतनी डिमांड बढ़ गई कि ऑलमोस्ट ऑल द मेजर एयरलाइंस अक्रॉस द ग्लोब हैड दिस प्लेन इन देयर फ्लीट, और एक बहुत ही प्राउड फीलिंग थी फॉर एनी एयरक्राफ्ट टू हैव दिस प्लेन इन देयर फ्लीट which could carry passengers on long distance flights, and they could also give the passengers the best services possible as well. और एक और बात बताऊं मैं आपको कि इससे पहले बिफोर 747 सिर्फ और मेजरली दो क्लास अवेलेबल थे, दैट इकोनॉमी एंड फर्स्ट क्लास, बट बिकॉज दिस प्लेन हैड सो मच स्पेस दे कुड एक्चुअली इनोवेट टू हैव 3 tier लाइक इकोनॉमी, आपका बिजनेस एंड फर्स्ट क्लास. Hence during 80s 90s इसकी डिमांड बहुत बड़ी, बहुत एयरलाइंस ने इसको फ्लाई किया, नॉट जस्ट पैसेंजर बट ऑल्सो कार्गो एयरलाइंस एज वेल. एंड द रीजन एयरलाइंस लव दिस द कार्गो वर्जन वाज बिकॉज इट कुड ओपन आगे से भी. अगर आप देखा होगा आपने वीडियोस तो आप देखेंगे कि आगे नो सेक्शन खुल जाता है और लॉट ऑफ बिग payload can actually enter into the plane, military, tanks, even helicopters and smaller planes as well. Now across the generations, there were 747, 747-200, 300, 400, and 2005 में they launched the 800. That was even a longer version from the earlier versions, and this has been used across by a lot of governments as well for their to transport their state heads. जैसे आपने सुना होगा Air Force One या फिर इंडिया में Air India One था. Hence this plane was in a way secure and a very comfortable way to fly as well. Now, what happened during the later part of the time is that a lot of other airplanes like 777, 787 took precedence over this plane because of better fuel efficiency. Now, airlines started thinking, okay, the oil price is going up, and कल को अगर oil price और shoot up करते हैं, this 4-engine plane will take up a lot of fuel, and it's not very fuel efficient, and hence they decided to prefer Airbus के planes like A350 or A340 over these humongous or huge 747. और आप देखेंगे कि it's not just 747 but even जो A380 था, the other iconic plane by Airbus, the whole double decker plane, even उसका डिमांड भी बिल्कुल लो हो गया, एंड पैंडेमिक के बाद बिल्कुल उनको बंद ही करना पड़ा इस प्लेन को. Hence what we saw is that during the time period from 2010 to let's say 18 or 19, a lot of airlines just phased out their 747s, though they just kept the cargo side of it, and they replaced them with, let's say, more fuel efficient A350s or the A330s or 777s. And at this time, only very few airlines, I think it's only Lufthansa which is flying this aircraft on a passenger leg, but cargo, like I said, it's still going very strong. And the final, I would say, blow to this whole plane was the pandemic. during which they realized that it's very costly to keep up the maintenance and repair of this aircraft, and it's just not possible. And hence now we see that not many, only I think Atlas or Cargolux and other cargo airlines are using this plane. But across the era or across its lifespan, more than 1,500 planes or 747s have been manufactured and been flown around this across the globe. Coming back home, Air India also had a fleet of more than 27 747s across its history. They were named differently, and it was a huge privilege for passengers to be flying on this aircraft. And this happened news in Padahoga when Air India was under the Tatas before it was nationalized. It used to be a huge matter of pride for anybody to be traveling on this aircraft because it offered the best service ever possible. But over the years, Air India retired all its 747s, and before the pandemic, just 4 were left, and they were still being flown on a lot of sectors. Or even during the pandemic, during Vande Bharat mission, these planes were used. But after pandemic, they decided, okay, there's no point in keeping up the repair and maintenance of these aircrafts, and let's just deregister them right now. So now all the 4 Boeing 747s of Air India have been deregistered. Now we don't know what's going to happen. Either they end up in the scrapyard, or they might be bought by cargo airlines and converted. So we don't know. But to be honest, I think my dream is still, if possible, I would love to travel on this aircraft if I get a chance someday. I really hope that you are as passionate about this aircraft as I have been, and you enjoyed this video. और अगर आपके कोई comments हैं, कोई thoughts हैं, तो please do share them in comments. Thank you so much for watching.